Oh, Hawk Tuah, y'all. I meant to wear my astronaut shiesty for this episode because it's a very special space-based episode, but it's too hot. It's too hot, and I can't. I can't be expected to derp in it. It's just very hot in here, so it's just gonna be good old Hawk Tuah hat. And if you're into crypto, I'd like to recommend Hawk Tuah coin to everybody out there. Hawk Tuah the moon. But we don't have time for that because right now I got to bring on a friend of mine who you may have heard of as the Raytheon whistleblower. That's where I heard of him. And then I met him because I did Roseanne podcast. And we chat from time to time. And he's done Jimmy Dore show. And he just did my boy Dark Journalist show. So please welcome Eric Hecker, the Raytheon whistleblower from the, what was it, 2 years ago? It was like an alien titty peak hearings.
Yeah. Yeah, over in DC.
Yeah. The DC, I'm going to something with Michael Schellenberger tonight, dude. And because that journalist, because he's the one who he was talking about censorship and how California sucks. And then he suddenly was on News Nation talking about the UAP hearings, which again went absolutely nowhere.
Right.
Much like all the hearings.
Yeah.
Went nowhere.
Right.
Why do we even have hearings? Is it just to distract me? I don't know.
Curtis, because COINTELPRO said so.
Well, yeah, if they think it's best, then I think we should do what they say. So wait, because I remember I initially saw you, Eric, on it was like almost Sean Ryan. That's where it was. So he had three guys that were with Dr. What's his head? Greer. And they were all interesting stories. I mean, every one of them was an interesting story. One of them was harder to understand, like piece together for me. Not the guy. Oh, the guy who got held up because they walked out on a triangle ship that had landed, and they were
Herrera.
Yeah, and the other guy though, whose dad was in the military, and then his dad got killed for whatever, and that was a very compelling story. Now,
that was DC Long.
Yeah, I didn't know enough about what's going on at that time to make heads or tails of it. Now I see why they would be killing their people from this and that. And then your story was, I would say, the most scientific, where, you know, we got real science we can look at that shows what you're saying is real, which is very unusual. A lot of these stories are like, I got to just take it all on word, but you know about this stuff. And it's not even your story was like the most easy to believe of all the stories. Like, oh, so Raytheon is doing something untowards in Antarctica. No, I can't believe it. I need better evidence.
Yeah, right. I mean, as if Raytheon isn't in the the business of killing people, lying, and covering it up as an industry for profit. So I mean, I just pointed on a map and was like, here's one of the facilities that they're doing it at, and folks should go investigate.
Were you there when John Kerry went down? He didn't go to the climate summit, the important climate summits that he attends. He skipped it because he had to go to Antarctica to check on the ice. And then I think a week later was Christchurch, the earthquake in New Zealand.
I don't know. I don't believe he was there when I was there. So the earthquakes that occurred in Christchurch were in February of 2011. And I was there from November 2010 to November 2011. So all I know is he wasn't there then, but I can't recall if he was there like just before I got there or just after I left.
He was out there measuring the ice, so you probably wouldn't have seen him. It was a busy day of ice measuring.
Yeah, he was boring down. I do know that Hillary Clinton had made a visit to Christchurch while I was actually being processed to go down south because her Secret Service vehicles, I noticed, were perusing the United States Antarctic Program facility there by the airfield, and where they issue us the clothing and stuff like that. I even got a picture. I got a picture of one of the vehicles because I just was like, "Oh, look, that must be ours."
Probably looking for tastier children to recover from the accident.
Oh, absolutely. Just looking for appetizers. Some Kiwi kids.
She's always heard it's the New Zealand makes them sweet.
Yeah.
So okay, and you've talked about this a lot. I assume people watch my show know a lot of your story. In a nutshell, just in a nutshell, if you had to sum it up real quick for people, because I want to ask about other shit everybody doesn't ask you about.
Yeah, basically, in a nutshell, my experience at South Pole Station for the dates that I mentioned before offered me the experience to be around a lot of stuff that most people don't get to, witness. And the end result of the actual time that I had there, and then post Antarctic visit research, I basically pulled together that there are what I believe are 3 directed energy weapons systems functioning at the South Pole facility under the false pretense of science.
Yeah.
That's it in a nutshell.
Well, weapons are science.
Absolutely. Yeah, for
Weapons
sure.
are a kind of science.
Especially directed energy weapons. It's nothing but science at that point.
Yeah, it's maybe a lot. Well, not Havana syndrome, but Antarctica syndrome. It could be. I don't know. Anyway,
could be a combination.
Well, I think they've been using these things for quite some time. We had before I was on Jimmy Dore, he had Bill Binney, Binny, the guy from the NSA, who had Thin Thread instead of the thing that just collects all the metadata, which is illegal and treason, and everyone involved in that should have been thrown out of office and put in a wood chipper. But this is a nation of cows. Bill Binney, the NSA tried to screw him. I wish I remember the story of how he made sure they couldn't screw him, but they couldn't. Well, before I knew about this and before I saw you, Jimmy tells me he gets a call from Bill Binney and his girlfriend, who's like this Eastern European woman. I mean, it sounded wacky. And he wasn't doing well health-wise. Like, I think his feet fell off, something horrendous. And all these things were happening to them. She said they were using a direct energy weapon on them. The NSA was using an energy weapon on them. Now, at the time, Jimmy's like, where am I going to go on my show and say this? I don't know what this is, right? And it sounded weird to me, too. And I didn't know what to make of it. And then a short time later, we could do a story that the CIA is paying out, what do you call it? Not restitution. When they have to pay you because you got injured on the job. They're paying that out for Havana syndrome, the thing that they just like a month before debunked as not existing.
Right.
And was just cicada noises or whatever the hell. But they're giving out 6-figure settlements to all the people who are affected by it. So as soon as I heard that, I go, why would they won't even pay settlements on shit that they did do.
Right.
What is this? And also that's what tells me how it's not Cuba and it's not China and it's not Russia. It's America, once again, doing that to their own people. And that's what you sign up for, whether you know it or not. Dipshits. You probably got injured too, didn't you? And what you were around?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm one of the dipshits because it just is what it is.
You really are an asshole, dude.
There's plenty of times in my life where I've put myself in harm's way knowingly, and that's my choice. But it's different when people put you in harm's way without informing you. So I think it's murderous. I think it's a murderous, evil thing that should be punished to the full extent of the law. I mean, I agree. I guess when it comes to national security, like a secret energy weapon platform, though, they could do whatever, as evidenced by like the soldiers they said to sit real close to the hey, go up to that nuclear test explosion, like real close, and you don't want sunglasses, it's real bright. Yeah, we want you to be the photographers because you guys take great pictures.
Or Agent Orange. I mean, it's just like a litany of like I don't know what it's going to take for people here in this special chosen country to understand that they are cannon fodder, and they are literally referred to as that. Several times throughout history, and fodder in particular, cannon fodder in particular. That's the one I forget with Rothschild at some Earth summit. So all that climate bullshit, which we don't even get into the science on it, because right now, if you climate change, the computer models is all based on computer models, not anything else but computer models. Did you know that? I didn't. I used to be upset all the time hearing about it because they predicted the end of the world now probably 6 more times than Jehovah's Witnesses, the doomsday cult. So you've already outpaced Harold Camping, the crazy religious guy who predicted 2 ends of the worlds. You outdid my old doomsday cult. Science has, and hasn't been right one time. So by the 5th or 6th time that you feel all scared inside and it doesn't happen, it don't dawn on you that they're full of shit. Well, it dawned on me, not because I'm bright, but you can only get me. But the same goddamn trick like 5 or 6 times, not endlessly, and so now I always blather about this, like because it kind of ties into the other thing you were telling me about, which freaked me the fuck out, by the way. I was buying a car, remember, and the guy I bought it from was an ex-journalist with like international journalist credentials who told me so much wild shit. And meanwhile, I was texting with you. You start telling me about electrified cages and shit from MK Monarch. And I was like, and I thought I was being fucked with because I had just started really looking into this stuff a lot at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, what? And now, now at this point, the level that this shit all ties together is crazy. I don't even know how to start talking about it. But will you explain to me what you were talking about when you texted that to me? Because it's wild.
Oh, geez. Well, yeah. This gets us into the whole MK Ultra stuff and where we are contemporarily, like you were saying with the, the end of the world. And like, these are all trauma inducing scenarios.
Yeah. So
exactly. So they can control you and they can manipulate your mentality and, do things. But they're doing this now to the general public off of experiments that they were doing back in the day, unfortunately, to myself and other children, which included,
Was it GATE?
I was in the GATE program, TAG program, whatever you want to call it. There's synonymous terms that move around. People love getting into a battle of semantics, but effectively they're experimenting on our children by many title programs.
Yeah. I was in GATE. I don't remember nothing about it, dude.
No one does. Isn't that the weirdest thing? Is everybody's like, yeah, I kind of barely remember being in that.
I remember the pink drink. Okay.
Yep.
I remember the pink drink. And I did find out that is fluoride.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But if you were in one of some of the programs, see, they're all, what do you call it? Private contractor kind of.
SRI.
Yeah. So certain ones give you a little, you can just give fluoride. You got amphetamines because it helps your psychic.
They used to give me eye drops.
What did they give you?
They gave me some sort of eye drops. So I discussed this with my father. He had no idea that this was going on. He's old school German Navy guy. So, he's bent that it happened on his watch. He doesn't like hearing about it because, technically it means he messed up as a dad. So it's not fun conversations, but I have engaged him on these topics and informed him of what was going on. He's apologized that he didn't know this was going on. But, you can imagine an old school Catholic school, they bring me out of class. They bring me to the library. There's a cute girl at the table for every dude that's there, so it's like it's a setup, it's disarming, right?
What?
Hi cute girl, and then they tell you
how old are you when you're doing this?
I was probably, I could have been 7 or 8 at the time, and these girls were probably in their early 20s. Some sort of
that's a new one. I've heard dozens of wackadoo things with it, and it's not. I mean, those aren't such crazy element. In a school setting.
No, it's just easy pieces to move on the chessboard to get the outcome that they were looking for.
Each boy was assigned a MILF.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it worked. I was super interested in doing everything that she said. I ain't gonna lie, it worked. I was like, yes, ma'am.
And this is in New York?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah, and then she would, tell you to lean back, and she would start applying the eye drop. She'd put a tissue by the corner of your eye to catch the excess. She would tell me to stay still because it'll stain my uniform, which I knew as a kid, don't get a stain on your uniform. You'll get your ass beat, So
yeah,
I just did what I was told. And then in that process, they would utilize what I believe I learned to be called a tachistoscope, which is some sort of device that was like this big boxy thing on the table, and it had like a little spot, like a viewfinder thing, and you'd look into it, and there would be stuff playing on the screen. There's headphones, they put these big bulky headphones on us.
It's more familiar. Okay, go ahead.
And then we would watch the videos, and then there'd be like a break in the video stream, and then there'd be the video would go away, and then the screen would pop up, and there'd be 4 answers. There was like an X in the middle of the screen. It didn't go all the way out to make it into actually 4 separated rectangles. It was just distincting the 4 sections. And it would ask you a question, and you would look at one of the answers, and then it would register, and then the video would play again. And keep doing this.
Yeah, but wait.
Weird, right?
Yo, I remember that. The thing of looking at the answer.
Mm-hmm. That always freaked me out, and I feel like like you and I both agree, like there's a lot of things that you don't remember about this program, but I believe that the reason that I remember this part was because at the time I was so like blown away because this is the early 80s, right? This technology didn't exist. It wasn't even imagined at the time in my brain. So I was cognizant of what was going on, and it blew my mind. I was just so focused on trying to figure out, how does this thing work? It's amazing. So I think that my own thought patterns being so strong at that moment were overpowering whatever it was that made most of the other memories fade?
Well, I didn't, dude, that thing of looking at the answer, I remember that, but I don't.
That's wild.
You brought it up.
It's annoying when you remember this stuff.
Well, because when you go to the eye doctor and you get that test with an X, and I remember something that's like that eye doctor test, except you look at an answer. Now, I don't remember thinking, but I don't remember being so revolutionary to me, but it would, whatever. I don't know what is that supposed to do, that test? I have no idea.
Well, I don't think that the heat-scope was as much of a test as a programming tool. What my research has found is that it was one of these methods where if they were playing the video for you, it was where they were also like inserting like a slide into the video that you're not paying attention to with the forefront of your mind, but it's programming you subconsciously that for every X amount of frames that passed in the video, there were also other frames inserted, that it was happening at a rate that your conscious mind wasn't observing, but your subconscious mind was.
Yeah, all I remember is I must stalk RFK and find him wherever he goes. What is the
Your code name is Sirhan.
My code name is Kurp Hands.
There you go. Kurp Hands.
There's only two things I can remember, Eric. I remember answering the question, and there's someone I have to kill. Yeah, it's just like always like little weird things. But I don't remember anything. People have all these stories of quite traumatic things, but maybe I didn't score too high on the whatever they're looking for. Apparently, they're looking for like spooky psychic powers more than anything, from what I gather. Or like you're really good at math, which I'm not.
They were studying consciousness and just basically trying to ascertain what its value was, how they can work with it. It's my understanding from the testimony of David Morehouse, who was one of the people that was in the original remote viewing program with, I believe, the Army. He stated in the episode on Danny Jones that he was present when, I believe he said the director of DNI or DIA, I forget which one he said it was, but he was present when they found out that the Chinese were doing these remote viewing programs on the children, and his immediate response was, well, we got to invest in that too.
Yeah, right. So much like weapons of mass destruction, I'm sure the Chinese were absolutely doing that, but they know the Chinese are doing that. At a certain level, they're all on the same team at the highest level. It's only at the lower levels where China is your enemy, but if China's our enemy, why do they make all of our viruses and shoes and phones for us? I mean, I'm being a little silly because it turns out we made that virus in Raleigh, and we just conferred with them because they have their own population they have to get pared down. They got too many old people. They don't accept immigrants, Eric, to replace the workforce. Remember how they're going to have it? I'm going to be Peter Zeihan. I hate that motherfucker so much and his dumb fucking prediction. Hello from Colorado. China's about to collapse. And he's less correct than a climate scientist. This piece of shit. He's like a Stratfor motherfucker. He's like a soothsayer to power kind of, like, oh, what's your forecast for world events, Peter Zeihan? And he'll be like, well, Russia has a lot of potash. He'll just talk about like their resources. And he's talking about a thing where like hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people will be killed. Doesn't even come up. Doesn't even figure in because that ain't what he's paid for. So this fuck was talking about how China has a population boom because they didn't make enough babies and bobbity bloop. And all this population shit, again, really shouldn't be a problem, but oligarchs see it as a problem.
Right.
He's always predicting of how is all my beautiful power and wealth going to be taken away from me by this rabble one day. Okay. And Occupy Wall Street scared the shit out of them. That's why we got wokeness. That's where that came from. It was a top-down thing. And there are all these little methods of control. And they've been trying to develop them like, I don't know, a long time, man. They've been really trying to get us all together on the same page. But meanwhile, China, that had too many people, they had their own reasons for wanting to have a COVID virus. It didn't come from their wet market. And the Wuhan one was used on Wuhan people. And the one that was used on us was Raleigh people. It was from Raleigh. And so
North Carolina.
Yeah, so that's why Dr. Fauci and all in NHI and Bill Gates and that Asian broad that does gain of function with Fauci, who's friends with Bill Gates. That's why they all go there, because they're above your stupid leaders. And they're all like, we got to get our populations down, and China, you're in charge of yours. And I don't think people are putting this together, even people that I think. Now, when I found that out, Eric, this is very strange. And the guy, all his information was good. Every single thing he told me was good information. Besides that, that's the day you texted me that thing about German doctors in cages. The same day I'm hearing this from another guy who shows me a video of the Taliban. You know how we left our stuff there? Whoops-a-doodle.
Yeah. It's too expensive to bring it back, Kurt.
It's just better just give them all the expensive things.
I can't believe that people believe that for half a second. Like if our battle plan doesn't incorporate not leaving our weapons of war for our enemy, like someone's not budgeting correctly.
Well, funny you should say that, Eric. Funny you should bring that up, because as it so happens, and I'm not sophisticated enough to put this together until this guy told me. But before now you'll hear about the new lithium. I mean, they don't call it the new lithium triangle, but they'll say it's in like America. I guess there's multiple lithium triangles. And originally it was Afghanistan's part of the lithium triangle, and we would like some. So not only did we give them a bunch of shit, that's why that's the deal of withdrawing from Afghanistan, is to leave them a bunch of shit as a bribe. You can't tell the public that out loud.
Right.
Oh, I thought we had seized their assets, the Afghan assets. No, we actually, the State Department whoops-a-doodled and paid them like hundreds of millions of dollars, plus all that valuable equipment. Whoops. And so he wouldn't send me the video. So then he shows me a video on his phone from his friend of stacks of cash, like a castle that the Taliban made out of American money. And they're like, ew. I'm like, holy shit. He wouldn't text it to me. Like and anyway, a month later, the news came out. The news is already out. So now it's not even the State Department said, whoops, we misplaced about 100 million. So you go ahead and quadruple that. Go ahead and quadruple that. It's real easy math once you fit. Okay, so he told me that, and he told me about Daniel Pearl. Daniel Pearl, who I assume probably was the reporter got his head cut off by the Taliban. I was like, you know what? All these people are always like the Khashoggi thing that I'm supposed to give a fuck about, which I don't. He's a spy. That guy was a spy. He worked for Turkey. Okay? He was not a journalist. The Washington Post is not a newspaper. Bob Woodward is not a journalist. He's a Navy intel fuck. Okay? I'm sorry I got to catch everybody up on everything, but that's what it is.
Yeah.
But this guy, Daniel Pearl, was a journalist, and he had met with the FBI just before he went to go interview or whatever. He's going to interview Osama or something. I was told the CIA planted something on him. Now, the dude made like a shooty motion. I don't know if that meant they shot a thing onto him, or he was just like doing that to like kind of illustrate it's this little thing they can put on you that you don't know is there. But the Taliban, or not Taliban, Al-Qaeda, because they had all this equipment, that of course we gave them, like much like we gave to Pakistan, state-of-the-art equipment. They detected it, and then they cut his head off on a thing. And so he didn't even know why that was happening to him. Because I just put a bug on him and used him and he became a valuable rallying tool about the barbaric. Remember how barbaric those Al-Qaedas were? Oh my goodness, what bad guys. And then ISIS was even worse. They're the worst, ISIS.
Yeah, they make all the propaganda films. They show people getting their heads chopped off, burned in cages, and then we leave them all of our weapons.
And we make them the president of Syria. And not only that, they're the president of Syria now. The guy standing behind Daniel Pearl in the video, one of them is the $10 million reward, wanted dead or alive guy. I don't remember his other name. He changed his name like Diddy, from Puffy to Diddy. He changed his name, and then I'm watching a video of him sitting down with General Petraeus, just talking like old chums, like, oh, it's all behind us now. And they're acknowledging, by the way, he was. They don't say Al-Qaeda and ISIS. He says that now we were on opposite sides during my time in Afghanistan. What? What did you say? Yeah, and credit. Now, let me give him some credit. This guy, okay, ISIS and Al Qaeda. I don't like their anti-Semitic rhetoric, and you know that, Eric. That's one thing
I understand, sir. You're a son of Israel.
Well, I'm just anyone with any decency. And also as leader of, I also have a ska band called Israel Did Nothing Wrong. So yeah, maybe I'm a little bit jaded. But I did appreciate. What do you think
about this Muslim terrorist guy that's now backing the guy that's running to be the Muslim mayor of New York City?
I think just like what I was about to say with ISIS and Al Qaeda, Sure. Is their rhetoric anti-Semitic? Yes. And I don't like it. But you know what? Credit where credit's due. You'll notice they've never attacked Israel. ISIS or Al Qaeda has never. Oh, I'm sorry. ISIS did once and then apologized to Israel. Did you know that?
I did not.
Yeah, that's weird. They're so mean and Islamic and they hate the Jews, but they would never attack the country that's right there. That supposedly is why they're so mad. That's very strange. Well, now they want to attack because we're friends with them. So anybody out there that got your cock blown off in combat, General Petraeus is sitting down with the guy in charge of making the bombs that blew your dick off. Do you feel like a chump? Do you? I would. All right.
Yeah.
Sorry, I get off on a.
It's all good. It's all good. I feel bad for our military nowadays because they're just.
I do all USO shows I can anytime I can. I'll do any. I don't like. I won't play whatever. And I play in Saudi Arabia too. Anytime, by the way. What is everybody talking? Everyone you vote for gives them money to buy weapons, but Bill Burr can't give them the gift of his comedy. Fuck you all. Dude, go look at the Holocaust that happened in broad daylight. Don't worry about AI is going to make it so you can't tell what's what. None of you know what's what anyway. Right. Don't worry about it, dipshits. You never knew what reality is without AI. You unbelievable cattle.
Yeah.
Who am I yelling at, by the way? Okay. Anyway,
it's all right.
This is why I didn't go further.
I got volume control. It's all good. But Kurt, I love your passion on this stuff because you speak with candor, and this is what the world needs nowadays instead of all this whitewashed stuff. I think what you're touching on is very important with these nation states they're scams. Behind the scenes, it's no different than Democrat and Republican. They act like they're fighting each other in public, but behind closed doors, they're high-fiving each other and working on their plans together. And that's where I see the nation states right now are just pawns to international corporations.
It's in what's that movie, Network, where the guy goes, there is no nation state, just the international flow of capital.
I love that movie.
He goes, you will atone, because he disrupted the flow of capital. But whatever. Everybody can buy it.
Yeah,
whatever they want. Nobody, look,
the whole mad as hell. I'm not going to take that anymore. People. We've been conditioned to not be angry as a society, right? If you're mad, you're the bad guy, and it's like, no. If you're not mad, then you're not paying attention. People ask me all the time, what should we do? I tell them, become unmanageable and get angry. Stop consenting. You don't have to kill nobody. This is what's so amazing. You literally could do a bloodless coup by not consenting to all the horse shit that you consent to. So just remember, the next time it's time to put on your mask and take your booster. And dude, friends of mine to this day have not, when they said don't do your research, a bunch of my friends are fucking illiterate. So they were very happy to hear, of course, that's why they're in entertainment, because they can't fucking read. So they go, well, I wasn't going to read anyway, so I'm a good boy now. Anyway, did you hear the pots and pans movement when COVID first came out? I think it was in Sweden or Norway. Oh yeah, and then they used those to beat up the hospital workers that wouldn't take the jab. Well, they just basically when their politicians tried to apply all the COVID protocols, they all just stayed home from work and were like, yeah, guess what? We're just not going to do anything until you cut the shit. That's the pots and pans. The pots and pans movement was, I forget if it was Norway or Sweden, but when the COVID debacle first rolled out, that nation just literally laughed at their politicians, stayed home, and were like, listen, here's the deal. We're not doing anything until you shut the fuck up. And they say to the houses, they banged on their pots and pans, and the politicians had to yield because the people were just immediately empowered to be like, go fuck yourself. That's why they had studies over there, and that's why because I was mystified as to why those NATO countries were fucking ahead on this. That's why. That you just explained to me why that was. And then during the real-time aspect of that, you were not going to see this in the American media. They weren't going to let us know. What we saw? All you have to do is just say no. It's one of the most powerful things that you can ever have come out of your mouth. It's just simply the word no. Okay. Oh, how about no kings? Even more powerful. I'm just kidding. Wait. Dude, don't you remember the pots? When you said pots and pans, I thought you were referring to when the imbeciles in New York and LA went outside and clapped pots and pans together to praise the health workers who were hard at work giving the jet. So that means some jerk off here. So they're monitoring globally this thing, and that successful movement. I didn't know about that till you said it, dude. That's wild. And it probably makes sense that it probably got repackaged to the variant that you heard. Yeah. At 7, we're going to do this and say, good job, staff. And then when those same staff
when they wouldn't take the mandatory. So remember when Kathy Hochul of the governor of New York fired all the medical employees? It's like a lot too. I can't remember the number. And who didn't want the jab. Now, by the way, imagine, would you eat at a restaurant where the entire kitchen wouldn't eat the food at the restaurant? Oh, but all my moron friends in New York, hey, where you get my flu shot? Anyway, they all got fired. Then this dizzy bucktooth bitch, you know what she did next? She got the National Guard to replace the qualified workers, and those motherfuckers don't have a mandatory. So she got unvaccinated, not qualified people to replace the people who said no.
Mm-hmm.
But dude, until you told me that thing just now, my mind is blown how on top of it these people are. And it's still failing for them. We're not moving fast enough to what they want at all.
Yeah, because we in a way, like, I think of like Walter Bosley and Joseph P. Farrell's work where they talk about, breakaway civilizations and how long this stuff has been going on. So, I mean, the rich families, the elites of the world that are trying to, run us all into the ground, they're not on the same timetable as you and I. We're in the average mortgage payer mode. People live in paycheck to paycheck. They're not making plans, 3 generations out in their family.
They're not. Who's not? They are.
We are not doing that.
That's why they like pyramids.
But the rich people, they're not worried about tomorrow. They're not worried about next month's mortgage payment. They know that they can afford to go on any vacation anywhere in the world, including Antarctica, because they're loaded. So
I don't worry about that, as you know, Eric. I don't have to worry. I don't have to worry about any of that. I'm a bonesman, as you know.
Oh, there you go.
I've been guaranteed financial security for the rest of my life, and that's why I'm trying to sell Hawk2a coin.
You're in the Oddfellows Club too,
Eric. You like crypto? Hawk2a as a?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Wait, okay, hold on. So anyway, that stupid rant I went on was because that same day when I'm finding out all that crazy shit, you were texting me this So after the attractive women in the thing, what else do you know from that program?
Oh, well, there was a lot of stuff that happened in the library at my school that I would say was following the Monroe Institute remote viewing protocols. And that was where that stuff happened. There was, also times, where, again, it was a Catholic school. And,
that's not good.
Yeah, I know. I'm not arguing that. I did 13 years at Catholic school. It was not
That's
good.
Called hard time. That's called hard time. Oh, the hardest of times.
Oh, Father McFeely, leave me alone.
Yeah, well, Jimmy Dore, did he tell? I don't know if he told you so, but he tells on the show. It really makes me laugh because he talks about how it was when he was growing up in Chicago, and like they all knew the priest was a diddler, and like he would take the boys on like water skiing trips. But the thing was, you knew he was like handsy, so it was your responsibility.
Dude, you're gonna love this.
It was on you to keep Father handsy off of you. So, but then while he's teaching you to water ski, of course, that's an opportunity to get really handsy. If you didn't keep him off, all the other guys are,
Understood. Yeah, I totally get it. Yeah. You're not going to believe. You're not going to believe.
America great again, Eric. Okay, guys.
So when I was a kid, it was a very German-Irish community that, we all went to this Catholic school, and I was on like the younger end, so that like most of the families were huge, and they had 7 or 8 older brothers and sisters that had already gone through the program, the school, so to say. So in my school, we had a lay person. You know what those are? Like a parishioner that's, super holy and gets to do the readings at the mass.
The most suspicious person in the organization is how I look at it.
Absolutely. So you're going to love
you're
this.
Not even a priest. So it's like, they're like a
you're
cutout.
Not going to believe this. His name was Mr. Trapp.
Wow.
Mr. Trapp. And we were all warned by the other siblings and stuff to stay away from this guy, that he's a diddler. And he was in charge of the annual 8th grade altar boy ski trip.
Of course.
He would take all the altar boys skiing with him. And to this day, this is why I never go. I've never been skiing in my life because it was like, hey, Eric, do you want to go skiing? Like, no.
I mean, look, it's not worth it. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
Unless you got killer health insurance. But I mean, people just die from skiing all the fucking time. Snowboarding is even less worth it to me.
Yeah. So I had an aversion to skiing at a young age.
Yeah, I could imagine. Well, I mean, what I imagine is you would have loved the skiing, but not enjoyed the lodge as much.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Yeah.
I'll just stay out here in the cold. That's fine.
Eric, you look like you had a hard day skiing. Let me rub your back. No, I'm
Oh,
good, Mr.
man.
Trap.
Now we didn't have anything like that. We just pretty innocent. Took a lot of trips with Tim Waltz to China as a boy, and yes, I do wish my girlfriend was hot like him. If you all right, so so the Jesuit thing, because I always attribute that to the Jezzies.
Mm-hmm.
Because in Kathy O'Brien's book, she goes over it a lot about at the point. There's a point. So the WASP didn't used to like the Catholics and whatever, and at a certain point, it all merged together. And it, like, officially, New World Order kind of represents that. That represents how I look at that now. Is like kind of like the establishing the UN, but not the UN you get to know about. You know what I mean? So they're like, look, the UN's not making it. The UN that doesn't make it peaceful. It's a great way to traffic humans to each other and find great coke, but it's not really.
There's a peanut gallery at the UN headquarters in New York.
What's that mean?
So like the movie theaters back in the day had the upper mezzanine. They called the peanut gallery. It was the cheaper seats. Yeah. So when you see the UN, forum and they pan out across the floor seating, there's a mezzanine above that. You know who gets to sit up there?
Who?
Knights of Malta.
Oh man, I love that knights are still a thing, and they're all, I don't know. They used to wear armor and shit, but now they're all pederast and gay piano players. Yeah, the Knights of Malta. That's not encouraging. That's who that guy who was threatening to kill that Rep Luna, the Congresswoman Luna from Florida, who's still going on about certain things, and I don't know to what degree it means anything, but I do know her opponent was trying to have the Knights of Malta kill her. He said he's on tape. Did you see? I can't find anything about his background either. The guy she was running against who did this. I last time I was on Rogan, we played it, so I know it's on one of those. But can't these people? You can't look up their background.
Right.
There's no Wikipedia. There's a Wikipedia on me. A lot of incorrect information on it. Thank God. My height is 5'9", and don't worry about when I was born. That's great.
It's one of the things from working on the North Shore of Long Island that I experienced that I've been, professing to folks out there is that if somebody's actually wealthy, you'll never hear their name.
That's right.
It's just
that was the thing we were talking about.
They can afford privacy, and they value it. As they're robbing it from us and getting us to give it away for free because we don't appreciate the value of privacy. Oh, they understand, and they invest heartily in making sure you're never going to hear their name.
Well, I looked up, what do you call it? All I could find, I remember when I looked this up with the von Merkenstein. The kids are getting into real estate in New York, and it was like a fluff piece on these two kids. They bought their first $50 million. So that's the kids' fucking lemonade stand money that these von Merkenstein kids had. And it was just a cute story about like a Willow and Jaden Smith type kids, except they're going to take a dip and buy some real estate. They got a $50 million and they're going to just, isn't that sweet?
They're going to play with it and see if they can make a return on their investment of 50 mil.
I can't even find the article now. I was trying to find it again.
Yeah. Somehow somebody was able to make the article. Didn't get the note that you're not allowed to write about the Van Merkenstein family. So then it got retracted, and you'll probably never find the author of the article either.
That's a fact. And I'm gonna have Ashton Forbes back on my. I haven't had him on yet, but I was going to because he had that orb thing, and I think his orb research is phenomenal. His Israel research is bad to the point that I am starting to think maybe he's getting some of that $7,000 a month Hasbara money from old Bilbo, not a Jew. I think.
I think Ashton gets engaged in fights, and he doubles down a little bit faster than he should sometimes.
Well, I think that too.
I actually just had some issues just yesterday with a post that Ashton had put up where he. I guess he was going at Nick Fuentes and saying something to the effect of,
I hate Nick Fuentes for being a little shit fed. And also, if you even have any Nazi-esque ideology, go suck a dick, you look. Anyway.
Yeah, so long story short, Ashton just made this post basically saying like, oh, so apparently the hatred goes back to some friendly fire incident in 1967. And I'm like, Ashton, I know a crew member from the former crew member of the USS Liberty. I said, I assure you, this was not a friendly fire incident.
Hey,
so then
that's disingenuous.
He made some comment about, oh, well, oh, I guess, we'll never know what the motives are, and he gave me like a backhand.
Yeah.
I was like, Ashton, don't pretend that I'm somebody, I'm not the average person that's not armed with the truth. So I followed up with I shared a video to him that my friend had made, like legit pictures from the ship, from the assault. And I put it in his direction, and just I'll leave it with that. I can appreciate that he doesn't know everything about everything, but sometimes he fires off a little prematurely and half cocked. So
he fires off nonstop as if he's being paid at this point. Also, he has no Wikipedia. That's very strange for a guy who talks about orbs. I would think there'd be a wiki, even a negative, slanderous one, like I have about me. But I can't find any background or bio of him anywhere, like a lot of these influencers you see now. But I want him on to explain it. He texted me, so I will have him on, and I'll hear him out 100%.
Oh, I'm sure he'll come on.
All his arguments, we did that thing with him. All his arguments, I gotta say, Ashton, you don't seem like you're using your orbs to come up with the answers to this shit. I awarded him a Jeffy. That's an AI prize I award to going above and beyond on the service of Israel. And it's AI of Jeffrey Epstein dancing to congratulate you for the great service you did to Israel. From the greatest hero of Israel, Jeffrey Epstein. Don't ever forget, their James Bond was James Bond. Who's James Bond? A guy that fucks everything and tells everybody his real name, right? he loves a little young pussy. That's what James Bond is, and that's the hero of Israel. So once we know that Israel had a human trafficking network set up, with with kids from here. Oh, also they have protests to be allowed to rape their prisoners who are boys. Did you see that? That juicy gem? The fucking
I did
IDF.
not.
Yeah, they rape they'll grab kids off the street, because they're Arab kids, and they were already doing this before October 7th, but after October 7th, they were really stepping up the rape of boys by adult IDF. So, the females were doing weird shit too there. And they, believe it or not, go look it up if you don't believe me. Because
I believe you. You're a good researcher. You don't speak out of turn.
You know what? I'm not a good researcher. I literally just have a memory.
That's true.
And when I hear a thing, I don't immediately forget it for patriotic reasons, like a fucking liar. Okay. So anyway, they did get some credit to Israel. Their politicians go to jail. You know that? Bibi's done, dude. If Bibi don't keep killing, he's gone. He's done. And my prediction is they're going to have to stop killing at some point, because it's like it's becoming a little difficult to hide, even with the fine work of Ashton and Laura Loomer. It's still getting difficult to hide. Again, I want to point out I'm prejudiced against Arabs and Muslims like a good person, obviously. I would never listen to them or any of their complaints. Do you think I'm a bad person who listens to Muslims? I'm not. Jews told me what's up. The ones who are honest, who I really identify with, because that's a tough spot to be in. And then the scumbag Israelis who brag about what they're doing. So these fucking prison guards that were raping children in a prison, 12 and to whatever, there was mass protests, by a bunch of Israelis because this is acceptable. You understand? They were protesting.
Yeah.
Don't punish them for that. They didn't even do anything to anybody. That's how you know the Holocaust definitely happened, because you don't get that insane unless you have the control trauma mechanism of a real Holocaust. Like that. Israel's a golem. It's like the golem of Prague, and some psycho, and it's fueled by anti-Semitism. So that's why they're going to do worse and worse crimes. And you're going to see Laura Loomer get more obnoxious, and others like her. And as you start to realize the truth about it, like I did, 20 years they had Gaza as a concentration camp. I never looked into it. Norman Finkelstein. It's not complicated. Oh, it's so complicated. Religion. No, it's not. It's the most simple thing in the world. And Norman Finkelstein told me it. Finally, a guy just explained it to me in a that's a concentration camp. They're going to keep doing this because Netanyahu's owned by terrorists. Ben Gvir and his group are who killed Yitzhak Rabin. And they're classified both Israel and America as terrorists, and yet they're the power behind. Netanyahu answers to that fat fuck. So what's going to happen is it'll either go to the World War III red heifer bullshit they want, the psychopaths, or the whole world, we're not doing this. And then they will pin it all on Bibi and his pig wife and his dumb shit kid. I predict it's going to get pinned on Bibi because they already hate it. Israelis hate him. Okay. Only dumb Americans say he's good. Americans being paid Hasbara money say he's a strong leader, but actual Israelis really do not like him. They were about to overthrow him before he caused October 7th himself. Spoiler alert to all the people wondering how it happened.
Wasn't there just a big protest in Manhattan from the Hasidic or the Orthodox Jews?
Well, they're anti-Zionists. That's the ultra-Orthodox, which I thought was Dragon Ball Z talk. Like their final form was. It's not that. They're just Orthodox. What happened was the rabid Zionists of the time wanted to marginalize them because they weren't Zionist. If you believe in that religion of Judaism, and again, believe whatever religion you want, I'm not telling you who's right, but in the lore of that religion, it's a repulsive blasphemy of the state of Israel, okay? As is Reform Judaism. You don't get to reform your religion to say you don't have to follow it. In any religion, they're going to consider that blasphemy, okay? Now, maybe
unless you're a king of England.
Hey, well, were you at the No Kings protest too this weekend?
Yeah, absolutely.
Boy, I wonder what they were protesting. Something with lesbians, probably? I don't know.
It's a great place to meet dopey chicks.
Yo, I want so bad. It is, isn't it? But then you gotta do an unboxing to see if they have a wiener or not.
That's true too.
In my day, back in our day, it would have been. But nowadays, kids, you're gonna have to do a full unboxing and see what you brought home. I'll say one thing about Alaska: the goods are odd, but you know what? I didn't have no surprise dicks.
Pardon me, man. Why do you have a 6-inch clit?
Yeah, well, she was just an Inuit woman. There was no. Dude, when I played Chilcoots last time, or maybe it was like the first time. I think the first time I played there, I didn't understand what I was doing. So the audience.
How many times have you been up here?
Twice.
Okay.
For I think I was there for like a week though, both times. First time I was in a condo, which is a lot nicer. Then I was in a band house, which sucked ass. But just dude, Greg Shaley, I ran into in an airport down here. He used to be the booker. I don't think he works there no more. But there was a cool guy, Mike. There was a bunch of people who are cool as shit that worked at that bar that I really was like, I would come hang out with them.
Yeah, Coots is cool.
Yeah, and so anyway, that crowd though is such drunks. And I was there, I think I was there like oil check weekend, both times. Okay. So I have no idea what I'm getting into, dude. And I get people are handing, they give you. Greg goes, "Oh, if you want like Coca-Cola instead of drinks, because they always keep sending you fucking shots." And me being a young idiot was like, "What? I drink. I'm good." No, that was not good. You're not supposed to just have Jaeger shots handed to you every few seconds.
Right. Yeah.
And I wasn't doing no blow then too either. So there's no evening that. So anyway, I did great up there in those shows. And then they recorded. I remember the second time I was there, I was like, I could probably use this recording because it was like a fun show. And I played it back, and it is gibberish. I'm drunk out of my mind, saying nonsense and just yelling at people, and the crowd loves it, and they're saying gibberish at me. It was insane. It was like I was on the fuck.
You guys were all on the same wavelength.
Yeah, it was like a Cthulhu thing, like where I was like, and then but I do remember I hung out with this lady who was a madam for girls in the oil rigs. She's like 70. She had a fedora. Fuck is her name? I probably should say her name. I don't remember. But she goes, and she heckled me. I made fun of her, but she was cool. I hung out with her, and she had like this really pure. I don't know how she was getting that in Anchorage, but I was hanging out with it. So she goes, "Wait till my girls get here. You'll see how hot." She kept going about how hot her girls are. Dude, it looked like a fucking David Lynch movie. It looked like either Blue Velvet, those whores, or the ones from in Wild at Heart when they're making pornography, Texas style. They were just one girl looked like she should would be technically be a dwarf, but she was a human height. I mean, a normal human height.
She's a pygmy.
Dude, it was so David Lynch, her girls. I'm like, I'm drunk. I mean, I didn't do anything with any of them, Okay, I know the Lord's against. Anyway, we go. I go to some mansion with her in Anchorage because the coke is the worst, dude. It's just like it'll take it on some real weird places. And I swear to God, there's a guy.
Hell of a drug.
It's the home of some Indian guy that looks like at the end of Boogie Nights when Dr. Octopus is in a bathrobe and there's a Chinese guy setting off fireworks.
Yeah.
Imagine him, but it's an Indian guy. Exactly that. There's no fireworks. And then I'm just doing this yak with this old lady. She goes, listen, I get FedEx you some black tar heroin because you FedEx me black tar heroin from New York. I'm like, what? Oh, it's easy. You just FedEx it. You just did no problem. You go get black tar. I'm like, I don't really want to, I'm a comedian. I probably don't want to get in the drug running business. I mean, this is really cool, this whole experience, but yeah, that's Alaska time. How, by the way, have you had any retribution? I meant to ask this before I started telling stupid stories. How do you get away with what you told? Because I think your thing's so believable that I would expect you to face a Gary Webb ending,
No, mostly it's just I mean I get threatened all the time, but I mean it just is what it is. It's mostly it's keyboard cowboys. I did get assaulted in DC when I went to whistleblow.
What, really? By who?
Some
Nancy
maniac.
Pelosi? No, it wasn't Nancy Pelosi.
No, it was when the event was ending, when we did the actual the National Press Club event wrapped up. I did a short little interview with some guys that were producing a documentary, and then when we were going to exit the building, my friend who went with me, who was a former crew member from South Pole, also we're going to the elevators to exit, and we approached as a debacle just got cleaned up. Apparently, some dudes attempted to attack Dr. Greer. Security got involved, threw these dudes into an elevator back down to the ground floor. As we were approaching and the elevator was descending, they were like, hey, be careful, this altercation just occurred, so we want to let you know you should be careful. So I jumped in the elevator. We went down because I'm not afraid of people. It just is what it is. We got downstairs to the exit door, and my friend that was with me looked out the door, and she's like, that's those guys right there, I bet. She's like, are you ready to go into bodyguard mode? And I'm like, yeah, let's do that. I'm not going to stand inside like a vagina. So just exited the door, and these two big dudes, big, picture like big goombas, like Tony Soprano type dudes, like big fat guys, right?
Guys with too much torso. I've been accused of that a number of times, of being a big fucking oaf.
Fair enough, but so I'm not trying to say like they were jacked dudes, like football players. These were just like big beastly dudes, right? Like probably weighed twice as much as me. Maybe had like an inch or two on me, if I remember correctly.
How tall are you?
6'2".
Oh, okay. I mean, that's pretty tall for generally.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a small dude, is what it is.
But these are a couple of gavones, you're telling me.
These are big dudes. Like technically, there's a good chance they could have tuned me up, but whatever. So I exit the door, and instantly this one dude just engages. He's screaming at me, and he's like, are you with those a-holes, blah, blah, blah. And I turn, I look back at the door, and there's no one there. So I just looked at him, and I said, I don't know who you're talking about. I said, you're the only a-hole I see anywhere.
Whoa.
And he got incensed. So he had a buddy over at the car.
That didn't calm him down?
It didn't calm him down in the slightest, Kurt. I wasn't quite sure which a-hole he was referencing, but I only saw one. So he got really mad.
It's crazy to say that in a DC. Where were you again? DC? Where?
It was in DC, Washington DC.
But at the hearing,
we had just exited the building where the National Press Club event was held. So we were on the street.
That's a crazy thing to happen very close to there, especially in the capital. All right, sorry, just weird.
No worries. Yeah, they were inside. So they were attending the event. Apparently, tried to attack Greer, got exited by security, and we're now on the street.
Did they yell any slogans or reasons for why they were doing it?
I didn't catch the debacle upstairs, but apparently words were exchanged. Herrera had told me about it, but I forget what he said had occurred. He was present for the upstairs debacle with Greer. I shut up after those guys got ejected into the elevator and forced out.
Okay, here's a question. I mean,
Mhm.
you probably don't know, but well, I mean, I'm sure you know this part of the question. Like, how did you meet Dr. Greer?
I met Greer through John Warner the Fourth.
Oh, because I see him on Dark Journals all the time. John Warner the Fourth.
Yeah, John's great.
Yeah, he seems like he's pretty fucking cool, actually.
He's very cool. I stayed at his place when I went to DC. He hosted me there.
So how does like Stephen Greer will be? I think here's the thing is funny. There's a lot of these people that I don't trust them, but I don't think they're lying to me. You know, the way you do a good disinfo is you include truth with it. And you can actually, if you're going to be a useful operative, you can be assigned to throw out the most amount of truth, because I'm going to have you over here in the pen of this is stuff we don't even listen to. So you have like how I would do it. When I just in my head, I would have like degrees of people telling the lie, and I'm going to keep cognizant of who's going to get to see who, because I already divide people into their fucking algorithms or whatever. And I bet you a lot of stuff he's saying is true, and not even so much lies as leaving important parts out. So here's the thing that I would wonder from watching him, because I have zero problem believing they figured a bunch of shit out and you don't get to use it. I mean, there's nothing more believable or true to history.
Right.
You know when Neanderthal, they go, how come for like 100 I can't remember how many thousands, hundreds of thousands of years, technology is just flint tools and stagnant. And all of a sudden there's this great leap and nobody knows why. And I was like, well, did it ever occur to you maybe some of the Neanderthals figured out some better shit, and then they put on robes and hid in the woods and they made it for themselves and their families, and they purposely kept the other Neanderthals down.
It makes me
came up with bowl or something.
If George Carlin was alive right now, he'd be on stage saying that, there's a big monopolized technology club and you're not in it.
Yeah, and I don't think the club is big. I think it's remarkably small for what it should be.
Right.
And they say breakaway civilization. I wish these motherfuckers would break away and get the fuck out. I'm really sick of all of them. It's always like a hall of mirrors of bullshit. Here's my question. Well, let me get to my. I'm probably one of the worst interviewers in the history.
No, this is fantastic. This is a dialogue. It's not an interview. It's a dialogue.
I just hang out with friends of mine on here. That's all I do. And so this is what I realized. Like, if you're just bugging my phone calls or something. Okay, so why would Dr. Greer be briefing Bill Clinton? Oh, somebody just texts me. I know he's a controlled. My friend texts me. I'm like, I know he's a controlled, but I want to know. Like, that's a very strange detail of briefing 3 presidents. Also, Bill Clinton? What? And I believe George H.W. said, you don't get to know about that. But I'm sure at some point he did get to know about that, because Bill did he played ball. Also, why did, this isn't really Greer, but why did the Blink-182 guy?
Right.
I didn't know this until I did Jesse Michaels. Jesse, the last few episodes are great of Jesse Michaels, by the way. I would say the last 3 episodes, they're worth watching. Not endorse anybody's shit or not. I'm just saying, I got something out of them. That's all I go by.
Yeah.
Blink-182 wrote an email to John Podesta that said, I just want to start, because he'd been trying to learn about the truth of UAPs. And so he wrote to John Podesta. This is pre-Pizzagate.
Right.
Why would that piece of shit? Why would a ping pong and pizza enthusiast such as him know of the secrets of the aliens? Why that's so creepy and suspicious. And this is what gets left out of everything. All this Freemason compass bullshit is all over all of this. And so for some reason, I only get to see people talk about one or the, not Dark Journal is great. My friend Emma's podcast is great. I love her shit's great. I like when people are trying to make the big picture for me, because I don't understand. Is the Men in Black or not the I'm not talking about the homunculi thought projections or whatever. I'm talking about the movie where it's like, we're the secret of the secret that keeps your reality safe and so you can live your stupid life. Oh, thank you. Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you, dickheads. Thank you for.
I think they believe that. Of course. I think that they believe it, but the scary thing is I do believe that there are factions like that. And I don't even think it's
yeah.
one faction. I think there's many factions that are of that belief that they're the ones doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And they're all at war with each other. And this is above nation state stuff.
Do people get this? That like there's 8 levels above the president?
Right.
There's 8 levels of classified above the president. It's not a secret.
I keep laughing at everybody in the disclosure circles that are like, we need to get the truth about the technology from the government. It's like, you do realize the government doesn't make tech. They don't manufacture stuff. They purchase.
They just take your money, asshole.
Right. They take our money, send it to the manufacturers who then produce. So I find it laughable that people think that even the government has the maximum level of technology available to them when they don't, right? If you owned Lockheed Martin and I owned Raytheon, we build the weapons, right? We would be collaborating and being like, dude, we got the good stuff. Like, why would we arm anyone else better than the armaments we have? It's ridiculous to consider. So that the military industrial corporations have the highest level of technology, just as much as the government is an intermediary to then limit the technology we, the people, use. There's layers to this.
Yes,
and it starts higher at the corporation levels, where they're slowly rolling out high tech into the armies of the world so they can kill each other, They're not selling them their best product.
It's going to be a one world government. And
they're definitely pushing for it.
That's always been the goal since Atlantis of old. See, the thing you just said is very important, because that's why let's say these fucking lunatic fucking psychopath esotericist inbred fucks that run all this shit. A huge quantum leap in their tech, where it's like so beyond, they go, so everyone knows 46 years ahead standard. People should assume that the government's ahead. Like what our military has easily is that.
Easily.
I think they hit a point where it's way more than that. Now, what do? Because you're a obviously you hate democracy and you're a cunt. So what you're going to do is come up with elaborate pyramid scheme reasons of why you gotta hide this and nobody can know, because people aren't ready, when really you and your lizard fuck family aren't ready.
Right, exactly.
Everybody else is sick of this shit. But so now if you have that tech, if you think about your calendar and our concept of time, which is literally handed to you by somebody, like I always think about, like, why does time count down backwards and then start up going forwards again? Because of Jesus? I don't even understand how that connects, dude. But those are just the marks you made. They don't really indicate how anything fucking works, but they are a vice on your head, so you think about it wrong out of the gate, so that I control how you fucking think about it out of the gate.
Absolutely.
Right? China's system, I don't know what wackadoo year the thing is, but it's like 10. They're in the future. They're like 10,000 or something now. So what you see how like arbitrary, it's as arbitrary as the age of consent in some ways. Anyway, they fucking if I have tech and you don't, dude, I live in the future. Okay. I time travel to the future, right? And now that I'm a enlightened future being, I can look into the past at you, third world animal, peasant, and I go, oh my God, we've got to get to this timeline, right? And I'm actually a protector of the timeline. I'm just a dickhead with nicer shit than you at the end of the day. But in my head, I'm protecting the time. You see how easy it is to time travel?
Actually. I've done a moderate amount of traveling around the globe, so to say, not the flat Earth.
Just go in a straight line, it's flat.
I've been to some places where the people, I would say, are obviously less fortunate than myself. And yes, it's almost like an analogy of time traveling, that it's like me traveling into the past when I get to these areas where the people are so poor and their technology is non-existent. Of course, they have a cell phone, so they can get the mass media pumped into their heads. But other than that, I mean, they don't have running water, they don't have sewage systems. It's back in time.
A kindly, oddly shaped alien named Bill Gates is coming to the countries to show them how to turn their poo into water.
Yeah.
Oh,
They-
but that's how these fucks view themselves because they live it. So I can easily see an endless cycle of that goes back a long way.
Mhm.
You know,
and I think that there's a clique that is that breakaway civilization aspect that's here right now. You know, where you know, at the level that you and I operate at, there's people that are above that look at you and me like Neanderthal men.
Well, I mean,
because of what they have access
to. I got a
to.
Hawk Tua hat on. You know why I have this? It was free merch. What a shameful hat. Of course they look down on me. Why wouldn't they? I'm wearing a Hawk Tua hat. What kind of an imbecile would do that? You're just a shit.
You're just a crypto investor.
Yeah, I call those people FUDs now, mind you. I just call them FUDs, and I say, don't stop me on my way to the moon.
I think there's another interesting thing that people miss a beat on regularly is like, you know, nowadays, you know, you and me and a lot of other people, it's very obviously that the mass media is wholly corrupted, right? But people think of that concept as a modern problem. I think it's always been an issue, right? Because 1,000 years ago, who was producing books? Poor people or rich people? What do you think they put in the book?
Was that the
mass media at the time that was also just contrived, and collaborations to mold the minds of the masses way back when? I feel like this has just been a problem since time immemorial. That it's, you know, history repeating itself. You know, if we're not,
you gotta watch the Mark Windows one, dude. Mark Windows from Windows on the World. I found his videos. I don't know why people complain about algorithms. I find all kinds of interesting shit in my algorithm all the time. I think it's you people that aren't curious enough, and that's why your algorithm, what washes up on your shores is horse shit, you know? But I find like wild shit, dude, that I'm way into. But Windows on the World, go look up Egyptian crowd control. It's all about the Pharaoh system.
Oh, okay.
Now, I meant to ask him. I didn't get a chance, but when he comes on again, I'm going to ask him if he knows anything about this because the dude Nathan Reynolds I bring up constantly because of the amount of loose threads that turned out to be true that he gave me to pull on. Okay, I'm telling you, not a single. Now I haven't verified all the things he said because some of them are so crazy, Eric. But all like anyway.
I feel like crazy ideas nowadays are just original ideas. They sound crazy because no one said it before, but in reality, it's just some original critical thinking.
Yeah, well, I like you ever hear the stupid? I love stupid conspiracies where like they kind of get a concept
like flat Earth.
Well, it's like you get a concept and you then think flat. You turn two-dimensional in your fucking head when you're thinking. So you're like, it's flat, and there. Why would they? That I still say, now I can't prove it, but I say that's a Jesuit psyop, and I think the motive of it is to have people adhere to something that's inherently irrational on purpose as a bulwark against secular. It reeks of like 1,000-year-old papist bullshit.
It goes back to MK Ultra stuff again too, which is the Jesuit, you know, mind manipulation and, you know, traumatizing
they
people
really
into believing bullshit.
Jobs. Yeah, mashing your nuts up and whatever. I mean, anyway, what were we talking about before that? I blanked out because I've been mind controlled. As you know, I was engaged.
Yes, you probably just got your Takiska scope subliminal programming.
I just got Takiska scope. By the way, if I ever die of anything, I want
just
everybody
pick a quadrant and select your answer, please, visually.
Yeah, just so everyone watching this knows, if I die, it was murder. Okay, even if it was my own fault through my own actions, it was a conspiracy. I don't ever regret that.
Self-inflicted
murder. I remember now. So Nathan says on I don't know whose podcast it's on. And I've never heard anybody else mention this, but the pharaonic system in Egypt started with like funeral scams where like these guys that were in charge of burying the dead kind of took over everything. Okay, I've never heard anything like that. It sounds very interesting. I might even be mangling what he said a little bit, but I don't think I am. But it started out as like a shakedown for your dead loved ones. And I would love to know where he got that from because a bunch of other interesting things I've only heard about in a lot of with a lot of looking I got from him, like or the Cathar. You know the Cathars? You ever hear them?
Yeah, absolutely.
So a ritualized estate sale. Mark is giving me a message about. Yeah, well, yeah, I know it's. I agree, it's a ritualized estate sale, but I just want to know where Nathan found that, or if he heard it from one of his family contacts, because he's from a family perhaps as important as the von Schmerkensteins. Did I bring that? Should I not mention that name a lot? Am I gonna have a problem?
You know something? I couldn't answer that question. I've put it out there, and I guess we'll find out what happens.
Am I gonna have a problem from Maersk now? the container company. Is that the guy that owns all the containers, or is that
was a different guy that I work for? I worked for a billionaire also, and he's passed away since. George Macris, really nice guy. He was a Greek shipping magnate.
Did he know Onassis?
I probably. So he was, dude. This guy was like 6'8", like 90 some odd years old, with the eye patch over one eye. Like he was a full blown like pirate. But this guy was mad cool. Actually, I got along with this guy great. This is what I said. I got a lot of customers that were evil, and are probably trying to take over the world. But there are other clients that I had that I got along with well, and that's probably why I'm not dead. Is that I have good backing that I don't even realize the friends that I made. George Macris was one of them, and he had like this really old mansion on the North Shore of Long Island, the Gold Coast, and he was really cool. So he had pictures of freighter ships all over his house. Like it was like the weirdest thing, but he always bragged that he's like, I own them all. And he was like, all these other companies like Maersk, he goes, they lease my ships. I own all his ships.
Yes, they're leasing the ships.
Right. But, he was the owner, and they leased like everything they leased from him.
That's like the dream if you want to become super rich, is figure out the thing, that one part in the supply chain that like for some reason nobody's there. And that's one of them, dude, because I would never even think about some shit like that. But Greg Shaley from Alaska, he told me that's how he always thinks. Like, I wonder who takes the trash out. Like, I wonder who does this and that. If you got any kind of head for business, you look at that. But I guess this guy is a 6'8" Nephilim. And plus he's probably from the days of Noah, so he knows about how important ships are. Yeah.
This guy, he was mad cool.
What's Schwaller de Lubix? Oh, in Egypt. Okay. Oh, boy, Mark is a real crazy kook that knows all this shit. Apparently, that's in Walter Lubitz. A book by Walter Lubitz, I assume. It's an Egyptologist. A lot of stuff
rings a bell. The Lubitz. That last name rings a bell.
Yeah. Well, I just got done watching this. It's like Modern Hermeticist. There's a channel called Modern Hermeticist, and they're very long videos, but a lot of them are very interesting because he's reading, like Eusebius or some guy writing about some group. This one, I don't know who it is. I don't think it's Eusebius. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's talking about the Cathars. Now, Cathars will be portrayed as a persecuted Gnostic sect, right? But Nathan, the guy who said the other wacky shit that I have been obsessed with finding the rest of, he said it's just some homosexual cult. That's all it was. They were just gay.
Cathars?
The Cathars. And then I listened to this reading of what the Cathars are into. And it made me laugh so hard, Eric. Okay, first of all, being a married man and woman is just as bad of a sin, I don't know if you know this, as incest or homosexuality or pedophilia. You're going to be punished just as much for those things. Don't think you're not. Even being a married heterosexual. And not only that, if you eat meat or eggs or fish or milk, that's a sin as bad as like child molestation, dude.
Yeah.
So they're fucking vegans. They're vegans, dude. They deserved everything they got. When they added the veganism to the sexual deviancy, that's where I draw the line, Eric, and I make that clear on this show. And we don't want no furries around here neither.
You're not going to any brony conventions in the near future?
Oh, yeah, of course. I'm not. I got to stay in the loop because I'm on a hot podcast. So I got to know what's going on out there.
It's just research.
I'm just researching bronies.
Do you have like the hooves for your front claws? The strap-on hooves?
Well, I'm not gonna. I don't want to give away my not till the big hoof contest is coming up, as you know. So I don't want to give it away, but I will say
It was my understanding the Cathars was what instigated the Inquisition back in the day, because it was at the time the Roman Catholic Church and the Cathars were the two largest religious sects. But
there's
that
two kinds of Cathars.
The Cathars were growing at a more exponential rate than Roman Catholicism, and the Cathars didn't require collecting money, didn't have organized churches and papacy to follow, that it was more, you and your God, there's nobody in between you.
Right.
So that was very
but
much
don't fuck your wife.
The Catholic Church industry. Well, it makes me wonder if those statements about the Cathars were just thrown at their feet to discount them, that they're not necessarily true. I mean, it's possible that the mass media at the time was also compromised.
Let me put it this way. What do you think would be a true competition for the Catholic Church, if not a better, leaner, meaner homosexual organization?
There you go.
They're going to compete on the level of all that shit with the Catholics. Come on, man. They're not going to. We're number one in that shit, and you don't change. I don't know. A lot of people think I attack Catholics just because I say horribly disrespectful things about their faith, including to some of my best friends, James McCann, comic James McCann, an adult convert to Catholicism, which I'm going to put him on trial for coming up on a People's Kurp episode. Oh, I should announce
Kurp. I love it.
Yeah, I should announce this. So I'm going to get my Patreon done tonight. So I got all this premium content that I've been making, and one of them is the trial of Matt Edgar, whose dad is Deputy Undersecretary of Homeland Security. So I tried to connect Matt to Jeffrey Epstein, obviously, and my case was thin. We'll put it that way, but that's a great. This great episode of the People's Kurp. I got 2 or 3 episodes with Sam Tripoli, the Sam experiment, and the last one that we just made, we created a new AI called Chat BET, and let me tell you something, it works.
Chat BET, you said?
Yeah, and we just said more hood every time we didn't like what we heard. Now I know what a lot of people out there are going to say. Okay, fine, but Kurp, can it also use a Korean accent? And the answer is yeah, it fucking can. You could say more Korean. You could create a beautiful. I mean, it's amazing what was created that day. And then I got an episode with Ali Sadiq I haven't put out, and my Dave Landau. Oh my God. Anyway, it's because here's the thing. I don't care about my business, so I don't do a good job with it, Eric. Do you understand? I have other things. But I just want to tell people, putting that up tonight so then you can start paying me finally. That's the number one message. Kurt, how can I pay you? That's about time. That's the thing customers have been clamoring for, Eric.
There you go.
Let me read some chats first.
Oh, do it up.
Oh, I got to put in I just got my code mailed to me to get super chats, so I can't get super chats. I'll just read some of these chats. More hood. I choked my chicken from Jonathan Brown. Dude, Chat BET, I got to say, I'm really proud of it.
That's good.
Scott Farquharson says Chat DMT will blow your mind. They say that, but it's like the Matrix. I'm not that impressed. Chris Stubbs says watch with an asterisk. All right. Peter Two Finger says weak ass 6th grader, probably about something we were talking about earlier. Live with Meter and Drug and Measure. No Measure BA says I only really watch Ben Avery, Doug Stanhope, and Toshwood. And also the Derp with Kurp. Clearly, if your comment, I mean, does he not watch the show and he just wrote a comment to tell me he'll only watch his other shows? Is that what that is? Bravo to you if that is what you did. That's a hilarious thing to do, but I don't think that's what that means. They're not super chats, so there's no point in reading them. Okay, wait. So there's what was the guy, the giant man? Were you in a Wes Anderson? Was your childhood a Wes Anderson movie? Is that what you're telling me?
Kind of, sort of, yeah.
It sounds very Wes Anderson, that a 6'8" eye patch man.
I have crossed paths with some, I would just say, really amazing and interesting people. Some were really cool. I mean, some were like evil, like Dr. Evil type folks. Like, I had a lot of clients, Kurt, like straight up. I'm like, you can remember back in the day when people's bathrooms had like magazine racks and stuff. So I was in, mansions on the North Shore of Long Island, and I'm, servicing the master bathroom toilet, and there's a magazine rack there. Okay. But in the magazine rack is, Council on Foreign Relations quarterly, Trilateral Commission weekly.
Oh, that's a Rockefeller friend, isn't it?
So it's like this, these are the folks that are really running stuff behind the scenes.
What year would so you know what the trilaterals were the ones. So the Shah, there's much ado about the Shah who we installed when we overthrew Mossadegh there.
Mm-hmm.
And Iran was a democracy, but that didn't suit America or England
Mm-hmm.
or precious Israel.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't suit any of them. So because they were going to keep their fucking blobbity blob, you get it.
Mm-hmm.
We install, so that's shitty. And then the Ayatollah comes in, and you always hear conservatives like your Patrick Bet Values and such tell you about how the Shah was pretty good because mini skirts. He had mini skirts. Surely people like when you fuck with their nationalism and spit on them to take their resources and then give them mini skirts. That doesn't make them turn crazy to the right. It just makes them really cool. There must be something wrong with the Iranians. Well, it turns out that asshole, the Ayatollah, is the Trilateral Commission's doing. From fuckface Rockefeller, Vice President fuckface Ford. Once you look into just control all history, I keep saying delete, but it's control all history. Oh, I'll have you on Andy Hunt, dude. Were you on Andy Hunt with me on something? That dude rules, dude. Andy Hunt has all the hustler journalism that everybody forgot about. Hustler was, I would say, better than the New York Times 100% for news. Okay. Which I was little, so I wouldn't see that unless I was at some kids whose mom's boyfriend has hustlers, or the forest for some reason. Do you find porn in the Alaska forest as a kid now? Is that the last place?
Yeah, a lot of people thought your mom was cool if she had Sunny D back in the day, but in reality, it was if she had a boyfriend with Hustler magazines in the garage.
Well, I don't know if we thought my friend's mom was cool, but I do know we thought it was cool to hang out with this guy who always had access to pornography, dirt bikes, and fireworks. I mean, if you had a one-stop store for a 12-year-old, pornography, dirt bikes, and fireworks, I mean, that would be the number one hangout.
Yep. Yeah, it does the trick.
I don't, now kids just, I guess.
And you sure he wasn't a diddler?
No, because back then, the thing is, you would have a social. It is very fucking strange to have to watch a VHS tape surreptitiously with your friends of pornography, and then you're like, unless you're absolute animals, everybody's just watching it, and you're like, wait, are we just watching this together? I guess I have to memorize this and jerk. This was the boomer dilemma of porn or Gen X.
The tape ends and everybody goes, I'm going to go home and get some lunch.
Yeah. This is making me hungry as shit, dude.
All right, just remember I gotta go fold the laundry before my mom gets home from work.
Yeah, this dude. I remember this dude. Me and my best friend, time we were hanging out with. But he had dirt bike too, and so we were in the backwoods in Jersey, in this Tom's River area. On the wrong side of Food Town, and there was all these dirt trails, dude. And so we'd be riding through there. I almost killed myself on his dirt bike because I didn't know how to do it, and I just kicked into a higher gear, and it felt like I was in Return of the Jedi on there's trees all over the place. So I just flew on this, not as a real pussy. You understand? And I don't even know how I thought to do this, but I just threw myself down the side so I wouldn't hit a tree. Oh, it was so fucking scary, dude. And then we found porn. It was dude. We found porn of hustlers, of women with enormously. Let me tell you the news of the day. Chicks have fat bushes. This just did.
Yeah, if you ever found a porno behind a tree out by the park or something like that, it was always some 1970s porn for sure. And
Yeah, but also Larry Flint, for some reason, did incredible journalism. He disclosed the Kennedy thing that came out from Larry Flint already. Just so everybody knows the story. I believe, and I'm a guy that got in early on Hawk Dua, so you can trust what I say. Gemstone. That's him. That's from Hustler. Hey, and by the way, Larry Flint was not a good guy. He was also probably a dirty, a bit of an Epstein-y type himself. Real good friends of the Clintons towards the end. It's not a good sign. Not that good.
Yeah, the
But
whole idea of compromising people and forcing skeletons in their closet is not new.
well, what do they do before photos and videos?
Not sure.
Like, is it like that Blackadder episode where he lures a bishop that he owes money to and paints him with a whore? Like he paints him doing terrible acts, because he's drunk. But like, what would you do? Did they have blackmail? You'd have to catch. I bet you'd have somebody's diary or something. Does anybody know?
I think this is where the whole idea of confession came from in the Catholic Church. I think it was meant to get people to spill their tales under the pretense that it's going to be held secret, but then the priest goes out in the back and, freaking Tony Soprano's there chucking some money to the priest saying, what did he say?
Yeah, well, first of all, if you think about Scientology, you always hear about Scientology has you hold the tuna can so you could tell them your darkest Tom Cruise secrets about your weird wiener or whatever. You have to fuck a fish mouth at this time on the dot like they got all your dirty secrets, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the worst part of that cult, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the Catholic Church had confession for thousands of years. I mean,
right.
Dude, the most
I
powerful
think that was a setup.
Well, I don't think it was. Who knows? See, out of the gate, I don't think it's a setup because the concept of having an intermediary to clear your chest to and getting right on something you feel bad about, I think people have a profound need for that. So they either have to have something justifying.
Mm-hmm.
If they're doing something fucked up, they need.
I think human nature. Yeah. I think you're right. I think you're right that human nature wants that avenue of release, but I feel that the church commandeered it for nefarious reasons. When similar to nowadays, there's an obvious attack on the nuclear family been going on for decades. I would just say that this was an attack on the human nature, the circle of the family and neighborhoods way back when, is that the church decided to insert itself as a third party. And now that distanced people from their friends and having that level of engagement with their own private inner circle, right? So if I wanted to confess something to you and you and I were good friends, technically that's less likely to leave our circle than if I go talk to Father McFeely about it.
Yeah, well,
so Father McFeely's got an interest in breaking into that circle.
Listen, Father McFeely can keep a secret if you can keep a secret. If you're cool, he's cool. Are you going to be cool or not? I don't. Now, this is how I imagine it. I mean, it could be exactly how you say, but how I imagine it would be from all these things I look at, especially the way people don't get that there's not like a united. Like we're all together on this, a bunch of factions fighting it out like eugenic dinosaur scum. So what happens is a good thing in the parable of the Eve and the fruit, some starts out good and then the subtlest of all the creatures slithers in and tells you a lie and blah, blah, and then it starts a whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
A good idea, like I want to get something off my chest and, someone, I mean, if you read the Bible, which I had to do quite a lot, which I didn't want to, there's a lot of shepherding and like feed and don't treat them bad and help them.
Mm-hmm.
Something you got to help, and people want that help, right? So that's a good thing. There's nothing wrong with that. But what happens is there's always a goddamn little serpent race motherfuckers got to come in.
Mm-hmm.
One of the sons of Cain, and they go back a long way to Cain, as a matter of fact. In their story, I don't know that that's true. I know that's what they tell themselves, and they come in and they turn it. You got your nice feudal banking system of it every single time. They come in, and then now you're the Catholic Church, and there's a fucked up group in your church up to some fucked up shit, such as like the Templar Knights. Let's say you approve this wackadoo group that formed the first banks. How do we know the Templar Knights were fucked as fuck and not just victims of the evil church? Well, they invented the fucking banks and ran them. Assholes. Anybody defending the fucking Templars, take your head. Do you notice how things suck now because of I don't want to say banks, but they have Chase swastika logo, etc. That's what the Templars are. And what do you see nowadays in the supposed future? Oh, people from the banks go to an island and do weird shit to kids, right? Well, that's what the Templars were doing. And guess what? They confessed to it without torture, most of them. Because they didn't want to do that. A lot of them were just like, I want to help. And they still believe in it. They're not bad, right? But then you're in the organization. Do you go rogue against? I thought the mafia was the best thing in the world, but then I learned they're not that good. That's the way. Everybody has that journey, right? With their dumb job, where you got to go. Okay, do I want to move up more, or am I like, this is too sickening for me, right?
There's definitely a lot of stones that could be thrown at the banking industry, both contemporarily in antiquity as well.
It wasn't the Jews.
It's always been different people, but it's just the wielding of money is a peculiar weapon against the masses.
The money is just a sigil.
It's conduit for power. Yeah, I mean, look.
I was going to say.
I remember way back when, when I was a kid, people didn't have credit cards just because you were a moron if you put things on credit. Like, just the idea of, like, if you can't afford something, you can't afford something. You don't take on debt, If you needed a chunk of change and you didn't have any money, you went to a freaking loan shark, okay?
Eric, cut him some slack. We didn't even know women had dicks back then, let alone that you shouldn't.
We're learning new things every year.
Buy shit
every year
with money you don't have, like you're the goddamn government, because taxes don't go to you.
I saw an old news program where they were covering when McDonald's first allowed people to use charge cards to make purchases, and they were going in and they were interviewing the customers.
What year?
This was probably like the early '80s, I think.
Can I get a McDonald's credit card? Do you think?
No. I'm just saying it was. I don't know that it wasn't a McDonald's credit card. It was that McDonald's was accepting like MasterCard and Visa card for the first time ever.
Oh,
so they were interviewing customers, and they were like, "So, what do you think about the fact that you can now use a charge card at McDonald's?" And people were like just looking at the reporter like they were a lunatic. They're like, "If you can't afford a cheeseburger, you just probably shouldn't buy a cheeseburger. Like, why would you charge a cheeseburger? Let me pay interest on this cheeseburger." It's lunacy.
I don't shit for free anymore. I am still paying off hoagies I had a long time ago. I didn't know. I was a kid in college.
Yeah,
just eating all this fine foods.
What percentage of the population nowadays has anything that they do in their life that doesn't come with interest now?
I'm trying to think. Well, I mean,
I was listening to a guy the other day talking about his truck payment. His monthly truck payment comes with $250 a month in interest. I was like, "Fuck, that used to
just buy the truck."
Yeah, that's not even the fucking principal loan. That's the interest, $250 a month interest.
No, there's only one massive investment in my life, and that's my phone for some reason.
Fair enough.
I like I like to buy the things and not, like I just got a car. Oh, I bought that car, and you told me your insane story about MK Monarch, which we glossed over because, let's face it, as soon as you said Catholic, I knew not to bring up the rest.
That's all good. I'm open to questions.
Yeah, no, we don't have to get into it.
You threw the salesman in a shock cage and negotiated the price down. I'm very proud of you.
What is the shock cage thing?
It was unfortunately a process. I would say that was the MK Ultra type stuff, and they put kids in shock cages. So,
but what do you get out of that? Like, what are they doing with the shock cage?
It's trauma. It's trauma-inducing activity. It's to, I guess, build acquiescence, to gain authority. I mean, use your imagination, Kurt. It's not good for the kids, and just imagine Nazi Operation Paperclip folks coming over from all the camp activities and just moving this stuff.
Disney contributors, I call them.
What do you call them?
Respected Disney and NASA contributors.
Exactly.
To this country's economy. So I'd want that rhetoric back if I were you, Eric. I
think this goes right back into what we were saying before, that our culture is being traumatized now by the stuff that we see on the news. I think I saw you saying something in an interview somewhere, like you didn't want to see Charlie Kirk get shot on TV.
Yeah.
Right.
Boy,
but that's now trauma-inducing activity that was forced upon you and many other people. And because of the studies they did on kids like me way back in the day, they learned X amount of trauma reaps this benefit that they're looking for. So it's just, what we're seeing now is just the rolling out of these techniques that they learned about. I mean, look, dude, you're not retarded. Look what's going on in the world around us. How much stuff can we
I don't like to talk about my status. My status, My R status is no one's business.
I don't go by he or she. I go by Riri.
Look, you know. I'll tell you what. I extra didn't want to see, Eric. Even more than that, was your 100. I did that. I couldn't believe I saw. It was like the Challenger explosion when I was a kid.
Right.
We all had to watch it, mandatory at school.
Yeah.
I didn't want to see Erica Kirk go on stage at a giant rally with pyrotechnics behind her, like she's Kill Tony. I also didn't want to see that. It's very, very strange.
Yeah. It's
young Jamie showed it to me. I didn't make that observation. Young Jamie goes, dude, it looks like Kill Tony, and it looks like Kill Tony. Erica Kirk coming out. Now I know. Hey, let people grieve and get their many endorsements. Just calm down and let them get as many.
And this still goes right back to that MK Ultra stuff where they're messing with your mind and splitting stuff where it's like horrible, 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 awesome. And then they put like, her husband's dead, but she's happy now. Everything like, it's like, what it causes a split in the mind, and they know these things. Like this is.
Why did his wife come out like Kevin Hart on that hour that was only a half hour, was mostly pyrotechnics? Remember he made like a movie where it's just like him talking to people in the street, and they're like, people got mad. Kev's a good businessman. He really is. But anyway.
Oh, he's doing better than me financially, I bet.
Well, not his vegan burger businesses, but I don't have nothing against that. I just like vegan. That's why as I said, the Cathars got what they deserved. Not only were they cool with incest and gay pederasty, they were vegan. Oh my God. Oh, that's right. Eating meat is as bad as that. Yeah, okay. Who listened to that? And the guy writing about it, what's funny, you know how you're right? You can hear them doing what you were talking about where they trashed the thing. And he's talking about their sacraments. And he goes, because they're like apes that are like mimicking stuff. That's what their sacraments are, like apes mimicking what a man does. Like they hand a piece of bread and then they do the consolamentum. Very hard to find out what the F. What's the consolamentum? It's the imposition of the hands. It's called the imposition of the hands. Now, I'll be darned if AI can't tell me what the hell that means. Tracy Twyman says what it means because the Templars did it too. The consolamentum. It's some gay frat shit where like you're not gay, but you got to prove you're a bro, so you got to suck my dick, bro. It's just some shit like that. Oh, I feel consolamentum now. Thank you. I'm part of the group. And now I know I'll be financially secure for life. That's really the most important thing in this world.
How many guys do you think George Bush jacked off in the Skull and Bones back in the day?
Oh my God. He probably used the skull as like a fleshlight on them. He probably came over personally with the skull, with Geronimo's skull. What's weird about that? Nothing.
Yeah, it's nothing weird. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. His dad tried to overthrow America to install fascism, quite literally. Not. I don't mean not taking your child to be read to by a drag queen kind of fascism. I mean the actual system of fascism. They were going to kill Delano Roosevelt and do a coup called the Business Plot. Prescott Bush.
Was this the one that Smedley Butler squashed?
Well, he gets squashed. I mean, supposedly FDR got his revenge on him, but I don't think he did because the 3 generations of Bushes are heavily involved.
Right. It was just a long-term plan that came to fruition.
Imagine the QAnon shaman suddenly became his son is the president now. That's what happened. Of Bushes. Is everybody fucking stupid? Yes. There's no point. All right, I gotta wrap this up. Dude, thanks for coming on, man.
No, you got it, Kurt. Thanks for having me.
When I first met Eric, it was from doing Roseanne's podcast, and then I got in touch, and we wait, hold on. Ooh, Tracy Twyman is an evil weirdo. Her hexes came back on her, and her own order took her out. That's somebody from that order. It sounds like a disgruntled customer. Could be. She was just following orders, okay? And that's what the IDF says, and it's good enough for me.
There you go. Yavolt.
No, dude, I would say, okay, can I leave one last derp before we derp out? So Trace Twyman, because her research, I would never do what she did, okay? But one of the things she mentioned was that Baphomet was ultimately the goddess Meat, M-E-T-E, or Kybel, which is the Baphomet, like a tits and a hermaphrodite, blah, blah, blah. Okay. But then Gary Wayne, who is now he wears his Christianness on his sleeve, and his whole thing is that he takes the Bible at face value, which traditionally, that's I should write a book called "Oh Jesus." Traditionally, you're not going to hear something interesting when someone does that, but because the guy's such a turbo smart nerd, it turns out a guy like him doing that produces really interesting results. And then, okay, so he says Baphomet is actually Mithras, but here's how I'm gonna alchemy dialectic these together. Okay, so meet is that the hermaphrodite? It's Attis's mother that took his wiener off because she was. It's horrible, these myths. Okay, and then Mithras, that's what the Statue of Liberty is, a boy in his Mithras outfit being initiated. That's what those French perverts sent to us, that our perverts put in the statue. And she said that she realized this is the importance. Like when she's looking at this Baphomet or meat and these old Joseph Hammer Purgstall etches of real sculptures in collections and in museums, Baphomet isn't a goat head. Baphomet has breasts and a beard and like a slit. They don't look like a vagina. In fact, it looks a lot like what's his name, Nero, and made out of his man lover. He tried to make it look like his sister. He tried to make him look like his sister that died.
Jesus.
Yeah, keep in mind, all these things that are so QAnon are just really admired history through time, that we still use these names of these gods today of the people that did shit like that. I mean, don't be disturbed by it. So she realizes that, oh, wait, meat's like either a hermaphrodite that lost the dick or a guy that they did that to. But I think it's not. And then he's saying it's Mithras, Gary Wayne, the son of meat. But I think it's a Norman Bates situation. And I think I think Mithras has got horrible surgery to look like Mother, like a goddamn Texas Chainsaw Massacre thing.
Mother.
That's what. Yeah. I know it sounds like, but I feel like I successfully dialectic those and sublated them.
When it comes to like the debauchery of people's sexual thoughts and lunacy, it's like there's no bounds to how insane.
Well, you think that, but until you get an underground tunnel system, you don't know what you do, Eric. You just got derped.
Thank you for the derping. He who derps first, derps last.
I just told everybody I just derped off. No, we don't do more than 3 claws on this show. I only do 3 White Claws. There's only a certain amount of derp I'm trying to go to, okay? And you kids don't understand restraint. That's your problem. Are we still live?
I have no idea. That's on your end.
Mark.